Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Marvel Team Up, issue number 4, Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel. The Marvels! This should be marvelous, right? No. We're not even putting up freaking preview pages, images, or anything like that. I'm just getting right into this freaking monstrosity of a book, dude. Let's go back a little. Okay, so we got Clint McElroy as the writer. Remember back when I said, hey man, in Journey into Mystery from the War of the Realms tie-in, I'm really looking forward to seeing more of the McElroys. Well, here's one of them, and I'm done. I'm done with this, dude. I don't even want to get the next issue. That's how bad this is. But let's just do here. We got Ig Guara. I don't remember ever hearing of this artist before. He does an adequate job in this book. You're not doing McElroy or anybody in this book a favor by putting all these... Wow. Felipe Sobrero is the color artist in here, and... Is it bad to point out that Pakistani people are not colored like freaking a mix between chocolate and caramel? I mean, like, what? I looked at the faces on this and like, nah, bro. No, the colors of this whole family, it's terrible. It's terrible. Plus the costume has pastel colors. Like, the only guy I can't argue with is VC's Clayton Cowles. Great job on letters and productions, brother. Great job. Anna Rudd and Edward Petrovic do the cover. Yeah, I don't have any real complaints about the cover. It's, standard. It made me want to buy the comic book. Everything inside told me I made a mistake, man. First off, we're going to go back a little bit. We're going to see how... Dude's just walking. He's talking to his girl. He's in damage control. The worst thing that can happen to you in damage control is telling Wolverine or throwing a pie in Wolverine's face. Some of you guys remember that comic book cover and you're going, nice one. Others are like, what? Stick around. We'll get to that comic book eventually too, one of these days. Anyway, when damage control first came out. So he walks right by this dude. Now, I know some people might try and argue. No. What he was hiding behind? There was nothing to hide behind. There's nothing to hide behind. Look what's in his way. Look what's in his way right there. There's a big upside-down baby food jar. All right? Don't freaking tell me that he was hiding behind something. There's no way for him to go and big clanky up, clank, clank, clank every time I walk. Don't tell me that stuff. Don't tell me this stuff. So the poor guy gets whacked, and you might as well change the WH for a CR. Crack! Across the back of his neck and whatnot. Wife's looking on like, oh my God, my poor, whatever the frick this poor schmuck's name is. And I was just like, oh my God, this is going to be a really violent comic book. And then the rest of the comic book happens. What is the rest of this comic book? Let me skip ahead a little bit. We get Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel coming down to yell at Miss Marvel because somebody got into freaking damage control and it's like, how dare you? Well, I was actually grounded. Why were you grounded? Well, because I was sneaking out here at night to watch the place. Like you said, was Spider-Man not available? Was nobody else available? What's Moon Knight doing right now? You got to put this freaking high school girl in charge. Why not just put Lunella Lafayette on there? Moon Girl, you know what I'm saying? Her and the dinosaur could take shifts. Like, that's just ridiculous, dude. What? So instead of trying to find somebody else, they're going to sit down this whole time. She's going to dress up like this little freaking schoolgirl, or school teacher or whatever, and sit down and talk to the family. A very terribly drawn family, or colored family. A terribly colored family. That's just, dude, who does the colors on this, man? Oh, wait, we talked about that. Anyway... So there's just, I can say, like, the nicest thing I can say about this book is that she looks like a teenager. She looks like an adult. That's about all I can do. That's about all I can give. She actually does look like a little bit like a pissed off Pakistani woman. You hear me say Pakistani. Like, I know so many freaking Desis. Like, that's what comes out of my mouth, Freaking... You got page after page after page of these guys just blah, 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 blah. They're wasting all of this stuff, talking about this stuff. We're going to redo the life and death of the life of Captain Marvel. Like, what this was a good book. Why are you putting the good book? So this is the best part of the book? The part that we already talked about? Freaking the father goes... The plan is to say, oh... I saw Kamala Khan's writing. I saw your daughter's fan fiction. I decided that she could write a really good article if she goes and interns talking to this Pakistani physicist, and she's physicist, why, blah 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 blah. Well, the physicist is Pakistani and Kamala's Pakistani, so the father goes, she's Pakistani, and the mother goes, so she's only getting this because she's Pakistani. So finally, like, all this dinner table stuff, and finally Stan Lee has to come from December of freaking 69? Jesus, 68! 68 has to come from freaking 1968! And he has to come in here and be like, oh my God, shut up! Stan Lee comes by and tells them to shut up and does his thing. He has to come in and interrupt from the dead from decades ago. Thank you, Stan Lee. And the rest of this comic book is just like they're going to go off and they're going to start fighting monsters that just come to them randomly. And then like other things start coming, and there's first appearances in here. You can call this a key issue if you want. I call this what the F. What the F. Dude, this was horrible. This was horrible. You know when I read this comic book? This morning. You know when I'm reviewing it? Tonight. Why? I had to walk away from the comic book. Dude, y'all can check on what is it? This Friday. Freaking Friday, I put out one comic book review. Why? Because I did my other comic book. I did Justice League Annual, which was a really good one. And then I was like, you know what? Let's do this. And this pissed me off so much. Just dropped a paper. I went and got a Marvel Legends character from Hobgoblin. Was pretty cool. Anyway, I was so pissed off at this book, I put it down. I couldn't read another comic book for the rest of the day. I could not read Serenity Now. Serenity Now. This comic book sapped my love of comic books for a day. Think about that. Buy this comic book at your own risk. It'll probably save you money on buying other comic books for a month. And I'm out. Professor Bell, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.